Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dollar has gonna
What do you think about the Hustlers just cleaning house?
Hey, GM opening spot for you there, Tice.
I thought it was going to happen, to be honest. I do understand dropping Jack and Riley. Like, they both combined to keep them. It was $275,000 each for the Hustlers to keep them, and that's them paying that to the league. They're two of the most expensive guys in MLP. And I think in the draft we'll see on Sunday, March 2nd, I do think they will go for much less than that keeper price. I don't understand the dropping of Leia. She only costs like $77,000 to keep, and minimum price on bids is $10,000. Also, the women's field is going to be extremely thin. By extremely thin, I mean there's like 4 players that have played Premier in the last year or two, and then a very large drop-off. There's Leia, there's Kate Fahey, there's Viv David, and there's Callie Jo Smith. That's like the Premier level players, and then below that is some good, I'm not saying they're bad, but there's good challenger level players. So the dropping of Leia just doesn't make sense to me, because she's probably going to be the most expensive player, or one of the most expensive players in this new 2025 draft, because there's so few women, and there's like 4 really, really good women that are being like teams are going after, and there's like 5 or 6 teams that really need a good woman. So there's a scarcity issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think this year is just going to be I think it's clear that the Hustlers just don't have any interest in paying money, right? This year is going to be a bit of a farce of MLP, in my opinion, because you have 6 teams that clearly want to win, 4-ish teams that are going to be in that mid-tier bucket that are never going to compete with the top 6, and then 4 teams below that are, or whatever that is, like 6 teams below that are just completely uncompetitive. I mean, the slice is just going to be a walkover match every single time because they have 0 players, right? I think it's really disappointing, because one of the things that we've loved about MLP over the years was the parity. Anybody could beat anybody on any given weekend. Now you have teams that are, now the top from the bottom is so much more spread out, right? Your dupers at the beginning of these drafts would be like, your team dupers would be separated by like half a point. Now your top team is probably going to be like 2.5 points higher than your bottom team. Like, uncompetitive.
For sure. Here's a crazy stat for you, Zane, to talk about that. So last year, when the 2024 draft happened, between Premier and Challenger, there were 88 players on the, there's 22 teams, 4 players on each team. Of those 88, 35 players are actually going to be playing on the same team in 2025 that they were in 2024. So it's 60% of the players have moved teams or been dropped or traded or whatever. So I think, this is just my opinion, I think the drop rule and all of those waiver periods in 2024 really kind of hurt the continuity of teams in MLP. And I think that it was an overcorrection to then worry about like parity, because like you said, I don't think there's going to be that much parity this year for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the league at some point needs to have a league minimum spend, right? Like the NBA,
yeah, for sure.
Hit a certain point, a certain percentage of the cap. Like, it's going to be brutal. Like, I think it's going to be a bad MLP product.
Yeah, I definitely think there's going to be some of that. There has to be, because if you look at the player list, some teams need like 3 women, and when you get down to like, let's go 10 deep or 20 deep, it's not like some of these players haven't played MLP before, or even Challenger.
Right. Yeah. Were there any other surprises from your end on the MLP adds and drops?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I guess the Chafises don't really care about finances, which is fine, but I just don't understand dropping Kate Fahey when you know that. So I think Kate was $8,500 to keep, and Gabe is like 89 or $98,000, something like that, $90,000 to keep. And Kate is going to be, in my opinion, much higher demand than Gabe in terms of like I said, there's 4 elite women that are available now, and there's 15 elite men available. I think it would have cost a lot less to drop Gabe and pick him back up. So
Well, you
I
have to
don't
think
get.
about which teams are actually again, we only have 6 teams that are interested in spending money, it seems like,
Yeah,
right? You have
right.
Columbus seems like they're willing to make a play this year, so Columbus is
Yep.
gonna be in that market. You've got the Fives, we're looking for our second female. You're gonna have the Squeeze, who
Yep.
maybe they pick Vivian back up, maybe that's their play. And then there's probably a couple of more, but like
The shock.
Shock, of course. DC doesn't need a woman right now, right? So there's
Yep.
5 teams bidding over those four players, right? Like, I mean, but then who do are you seeing that the Shock should have dropped Gabe?
Yeah. Yeah, I 100% think they should have dropped Gabe because there's already drops of left side guys. James, Jack, I would call Riley a left side guy still. Right. And so there's a lot of left side guys that are available. Gabe is preferred on the right. So I think you could go get even if the Shock had to go pay 200,000 to keep Gabe, right? Like they know they're worried about another team drafting a right side guy. They overbid, they pay $200,000. That's only $100,000 over what it would have cost to keep him. And I'm saying Kate is going to go for more than that. So financially, it just didn't make sense to me. But if money doesn't matter and they just want to go get back and get Kate or Alea or whoever they want, then they're fine. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had fun.